Okay, so Gary was asking if I have a place to display my new Lego set. So here it is at the top shelf of the display cupboard in my study room. Oh my god, guys, would you believe it? It's day 30 of MCO, and yesterday we've got a bit of encouraging news from the health ministry. For the first time in more than a month, we have recorded just double digits in new cases, and once again the number of recovered patients exceed the number of new cases. So yeah, it's encouraging, but at the same time it's not time to relax yet. We still have a long way to go, and yeah, we've got to hold on to this. We've got to maintain the course. Okay, we cannot ease off at this critical juncture, but also at the same time, whilst we cling on to our hope, we also need to be cautious, because there's still a question of how severe is the backlog of uncompleted tests. I think once we manage to reduce the number of backlogs of testing versus and once that is done, all right, and we still record a low percentage of positives versus the total number of tests, then I think we can really be breathe a bit easier. But we can't relax this until and unless the final case is cured, and that is when we can slowly start to bring ourselves back to a normal way of life, whatever the new normal means lah. Okay, so let's get on with today's Q&A. Okay, so somebody commented on my first E39 video, Muhammad Shamil. I need your opinion on this. Somebody offered his 97 E39 525 single vinyls for 9,000. Now the question is, should I go for it or look for a final batch unit like yours? Appreciate if you can provide some guidance. Firstly, if you're looking at a 97 car, it's not called a 525, it's called a 523. Even though it's a 2.5 liter engine. Why? The M52 cars, the M52 2.5 cars are called the 523 because the M52 engines, if you compare to the M50 engines that were previously used in the E34, the M52 engines are slightly more detuned. So if you look at the M50 2.5 versus the M52 2.5, you will find that the M52 actually has lower outputs versus the M50. So that is why BMW gave the M52 2.5 a 23i designation, to indicate that this engine is detuned compared to the previous 2.5. But a common modification for some owners out there is that what they do is they replace the air intake of the M52 with the M50 air intake, and that helps free up some horsepower from the M52 engine. Okay, so what I understand is that the M52 is detuned in order for it to comply to emissions. All right, so to answer your question, right, a 97 E39 523 at 9,000, it all depends on the condition. That's about the going rate for that model right now. If the car is in good condition, low mileage, then it's a no-brainer. Take it. Okay. Final batch car like mine will cost easily double that amount, and if it's a buy and drive, it will be the value will surely exceed 20,000 ringgit. So the decision really is yours. Yes, the M54 cars are the ones that most people look for, but they also command a higher price as a result. So yeah, if you see a single one-off car going for a very low price below 10,000 ringgit and little repairs needed, it's still a fantastic deal. Okay, I hope I get you pronounce your name correctly. Run Low 883R. Seems like Malaysians still like the Beza. Do you think getting the first generation Continental Flying Spur W12 for twice the price of a Beza is a good thing? I may not love the exterior looks that much, but the leather and wood interior is simply amazing. Do you think its value will appreciate in the future? Will exterior and interior colors play a part to determine its value as well? Thanks for answering. Uh, a Continental Flying Spur W12 at twice the price of a Beza. Firstly, I think that's probably a cash buy right now. Even if you can take loan, it will be a very it will be a very low margin. So you still have to fork out a high down payment up front, and the road tax of this thing is not cheap. I mean 6 liters. Gotta ask Bobby, what's the how much I think it's about 15,000 ringgit a year on road tax. So yep, that these will be the your cost yearly, and that's before servicing. Do you think its value will appreciate in the future? Difficult to say, but right now they are the prices are dropping like flies. So I don't know how collectible will this car be in the future, in 10 years, 20 years time. I don't know, but do I think its value will appreciate in the future? Well, let's look. I'm seeing right now here a 2005 Flying Spur going for 76,000. Very interesting price. Okay, let's try looking at a Rolls Royce from before 1996 and see how much do those cost. So like what I'm seeing here, a 95 Rolls Royce Shadow 2 6.8, 89,000 ringgit. 95 Rolls Royce Silver Spirit, 95,000 ringgit. So if you look at the trend of these cars, yeah, your Continental Flying Spur will appreciate in the future, but probably not fast enough to cover your annual road tax bill. So if you're looking to buy the car for appreciation, don't. But if you're looking to buy the car to appreciate its fine wood and leather, well, it's cheaper than buying a new Bentley lah, that's for sure. Iketani, my Cefiro 3.0 has broken down some weeks before MCO, determined it's beyond economic repair. So might want to get another car after MCO is lifted. Currently looking for a car that's sub 30k to 40k. New Saga or Persona 1.6 manual, or used car like an Inspira 1.8 manual, 1.5 manual, Vios, Altis, Mazda 3. Practicality, handling, and economy is my concern. CVT is not included for now. Always heard of CVT, noisy feel and lack of instant response as opposed to torque converter automatic. My work is mostly A to B, but occasionally need to deliver goods, mostly under 150 kilos. Hope to get some insights for you. Now, you're driving a Cefiro 3.0, but right now your choices are you're looking at 1.3, 1.6, 1.8, 2.0. First thing I want to highlight is coming from your Cefiro 3.0, right? Now you go to all these B segment, C segment cars. Yeah, you will enjoy the lower road tax, but at the same time, you may miss that big displacement feel of your current engine. So yeah, that's something for you to think about. And looking at some of the choices that you lay out, Inspira 1.8, yeah, that's a good choice. These are all good choices. If you need to deliver goods, of course the Persona is the best because the what Persona, I think, is amongst this, right, has the biggest boot. So if occasional delivery of goods is an important thing to you, then yes, the Persona has the biggest boot. The Inspira boot space is a bit compromised because the original Mitsubishi Lancer boot was designed with a space saver spare tire in mind. Proton decided to fit a full-size spare tire in the Inspira, and as a result is that they had to raise the boot floor of the Inspira to accommodate a full-size spare, and that results in a lower boot capacity. So I'm assuming you look, if you're looking at an Inspira or used car, right? I'm guessing you are buying your car loan with about planning to put about maybe up to 10 or 15k down payment. So these are all these are all okay cars lah. But if you're looking to deliver goods, I think a Persona may be the new Persona may be a better choice for you. If you're looking at a used buy, then I would suggest actually the old Persona is not a bad choice either. So with the old Persona, you can also consider the automatic version if you prefer automatic, right? The old Persona is in fact, right, if you're talking about handling, the old Persona is better than the new one. But of course, fuel economy, the new Persona is better lah. Boot space is pretty good also, so that's something you can consider. Or if you have the money for a cash buy, I saw a W124 estate going for your kind of budget, and like for like, it's a closer replacement to your Cefiro 3.0. You get more boot space. The example that I saw was a 2.3, so it's not quite 3.0 level yet, but you still have a kind of a big engine feel to your car. So maybe that's something you may want to look into. Yeah. But and the W124 Mercedes, those cars are robust and parts are still quite readily available. Derek, following up on your question regarding the 523 and 528, so now you are saying you will look out for the M54 for an M54 engine, and you also highlighted that the prices that you mentioned earlier, the 523 you're looking at was 11,888, and the 528 was looking at it was 16,800. Between these two, I think the 523 that you're looking at is a good deal, assuming the car has very minor repairs. 16,800 for the 528, you can take that money and spend it on a newer O2 or O3 520 like mine, or a 525 M54. Those would be much newer cars, and even though you don't have the large capacity of the 528, yeah, but of course the flip side is you save on road tax lah. Yeah, so I think from what you have, from the two examples that you surveyed, the 523 is the most, the 523 looks like a better deal, lower road tax. So yeah, check that out. Okay, go check that out. Saharuddin Anwar, is it worth to buy a used Audi Q3? Yep. Would it be a better option to buy a used 2.0 or 1.4, budget about 80 to 120k? Do you have a better option with this budget? 80 to 120k, right? The 1.4s that I see in the market are all about 70 or thousand ringgit. So 80 to 120k, you easily can afford any of the 2 liters out there in the market. So that's what I would recommend that you go for. Although the 1.4 is actually not bad lah, but it's just that since you have the budget, right, then go for the 2 liter. 80 to 120k, I am pretty sure you can get an X3 for that money as well, which is a bigger segment car. Right? The Mercedes GLC was not introduced at that point in time, so I can't recommend that to you. Certainly not at the budget that you're looking at lah. But let's look at X3. X3 up to one, you can get a previous gen 2014 X3 for 120,000. Now let's look at Audi Q5. The most expensive example of the Audi Q5 for 120,000 ringgit is also 2015, 2014 car that you can look at that price. So you may want to look into those as well. William Young, following up on your question on your E90. So if you have a budget of about 70 to 80k, is it a better idea to look for F30 than E90? Between the F30 and E90, yeah, of course the E90 is a cheaper option, right? But it really there's another angle to it when you choose between F30 and E90. It's about choosing the driving experience that you want. The E90 is a sharper handling car. It's more edgy. You know, if you really want a car that's agile, then E90 is more agile, more athletic. Then E90 is still the one to go for. The F30 gives you better ride comfort. It's a nicer day-to-day car. A lot of critics complain that the F30 handles nowhere near as good as the E90, which is true. But at the same time, do keep in mind that the F30, even though people say that, oh, it doesn't handle as well as the E90, it was still the best handling car of its segment at its time. So it's really a matter of choice. But definitely, if you look at the F30, you have better ride comfort. So they are better day-to-day cars. And the F30 also, the transmission, the 8-speed, the ZF 8-speed automatic is a far superior transmission than the 6-speed in the E90, both in terms of reliability as well as smoothness and durability. The only thing about the E90, the one good thing about the E90 is you get the choice of you still have the option of a naturally aspirated inline 6 engine, okay, in the 323 and the 325. So those will be the reasons to go for the E90. F30 you can have an inline 6 as well, but it is the 335. And prices of the 335 have not come down. They are still in the 115 to 120,000 ringgit price, maybe 100,000 if you bargain hard enough. So yeah, I mean F30 all round it's a better day-to-day car, but the E90 will be a more enjoyable car to drive. All right, so really to me it's a question of choice. Of course, if you talk about the diesel engine, if you're looking at buying diesel, then definitely my recommendation is go for the F30 lah. Avoid the first batch CBU cars; those are just too kosong. All right, go for the CKD cars, the later ones with either the Sport line trim or the M Sport trim. Those are far more attractive. Okay, Aristocrat. Which one better, new Myvi or Persona? It's a matter of choice. Yes, good morning. I would say having owned a Persona, I would go for the Persona between these two. But of course, if you are one that is if you are particular about safety, active safety, then of course the new Myvi full spec you get auto braking. Right, so that's a more up to date choice. But if you ask me for in terms of overall driving experience, I think the Persona is a nicer car to drive, better handling. Although the CVT is still a bit of a turn off for me, but otherwise overall my choice would be the Persona. Renault Clio 1.2 turbo, good daily driver, could be fun on the weekends. My last experience with the Renault Clio 1.2 turbo, handling is good, but the transmission, at the time I drove the first batch one, right, the transmission was had all the drawbacks of a DCT but none of the benefits. So it was clunky. The DCT was jerky at low speeds, but it was not fast shifting. So the only benefit of the DCT was that it had less power loss versus a torque converter. That's about it. Volks, this is a very interesting comment. It's tricky to measure. This is a comment on my Passat, the new Passat Genting Run. So it's tricky to measure horsepower by Asian car. European car, Asian car maker measure horsepower using on crank, whereby European cars measure on wheel. On wheel measurement He's factoring the car weight and transmission response. Yeah, okay. Example, CRV 1.5 on paper is 193 horsepower, 243 Newton meters, but after diagnosed on the wheel horsepower is 142 horsepower and torque is 219. I assume this is a number you obtain from your own testing, okay? Whereby the Passat B8 pre-facelift on paper is 180, 250, 180 PS, 250 Newton meters. On wheel is 187 and 267, slightly higher than on paper. Yeah, okay. Therefore, I strongly believe the Accord on paper is 201 PS, but in real world, it could be somewhere 150 PS only. Otherwise, how come the CRV with lower PS and Newton meter, but 0 to 100 kilometers only takes 8.8 seconds, but the new Accord with higher engine output is 9 seconds? Fair point. Fair point. I think with the Honda, and then you are added that this Passat Elegance 190 PS is 0 to 100 kilometers is 7.5 seconds according to Volkswagen UK website. Fair point. Yep, the Passat uses a dual clutch transmission, so efficiency wise, definitely, I mean, efficiency in terms of power transmission, definitely it will beat the Accord. So yeah, I mean, if you look at it from that way, in the real world, the Passat may probably still be the faster car than the Accord. King Seong Hee, thanks for your insight to the world of rival auto. I've checked that it seems my E46 only requires removing the side covers inside the trunk. Lucky you. Noted on the ride height as well, currently lower done by previous owners, so I'm basically scraping all over the place. Would opt to return to stock height as well. Thanks once again and take care. Good call. Okay, the man following up on his comment with the M54 B30 oil pump. Don't think we've encountered that problem, if memory serves me right. Is there a common issue specific to the 3.0 engine? According to what I read on the internet, it is common to 3-liter engines that regularly high rev. So I think if you drive it normally, it should be okay. But I would, if I were you, I put that item on my watch list. Okay, these days mechanically it's been running well, but being a 17-year-old car with rear air suspension, we did have a spell where we spent a ton of money fixing that after it sagged on one side when we parked on a curb. Lately, we had to replace a crankshaft sensor when it would intermittently jump into the transmission failsafe. When the trifecta came up, it would jump into the engine failsafe program occasionally. By the way, it's known as the trifecta because sometimes the airbag warning light comes up as well. Was diagnosed as an ABS pump failure, and some replacement parts we tried were faulty as well. The workshop tells us now it's fine, but then they say the steering angle sensor is kaput too, so the lights are still on. Might have to try a different workshop to see if they have a different opinion on this. Maybe this can provide an insight to you if, touch wood, this were to happen to your E39 as well. Thank you for sharing. And yes, yeah, it will not be a bad idea for you to go and check on, go and get a second opinion for another shop. So Mosh, okay, this is a good friend of mine. Mosh, before this MCO, I just bought a 2014 Suprema Premium. Proton certified pre-owned with 12-month extended warranty and free first service. The car gone through 79,000 mileage, all holes. You want to go outside? Come. Just give Appa for a while, okay? Appa carry you first, come. Come. All hose mountings, necessary part replaced, new battery, engine replaced, and few months tire. Was thinking of getting the Ford Focus of the same year, but this one is cheaper. And later there was some reply and comments. You bought the car for 26,000 ringgit. Fabulous deal. Fabulous deal. And the fact that you get an extra 12-month warranty, really for the price you paid and for the car you get, no brainer. Okay, KCH Rider, thank you for answering my question regarding my Wajah Cam Pro. Here's a question. You bought a 2006 BMW E60 at a very reasonable price. What brand motor oil are you using for E39? Camloop. Yeah, Camloop. Go find them on online. I'll put a link to a brochure that we built for them. Okay. Okay, so I replied to your comment. with a link to the cam loop brochure as well as my video of me changing the oil then. Okay, all right. Hunter Killer, do you think post PKPM Inspira 2.0 Exora CPS both totaling 50k more or less, you want to pick up both these cars for 50k more? Good deal. Definitely worth looking into. If you want an alternative suggestion, both, I mean, okay, so to start out with, Inspira 2.0 and Exora CPS for 50k together, goodbye, no doubts. But of course, if you're looking for an alternative, how about a first generation S-Max for about 35,000 ringgit, set aside 5k to repair, and the remaining money buy a Waja. You can easily get a Waja for less than 10k. So that's another alternative for you to consider. Isaac Lee, Lexus IS250C or Forester XT, friend from Singapore. Okay, so in the Singapore context, right, Lexus IS250C versus Forester XT. Well, I mean, of course, there are some local conditions out that apply to you that I may not be aware of. But if you're asking me this question and assuming you are a bachelor with no family concerns, then IS250C lor, right? I mean, you can always buy a turbocharged SUV again in the future, but if let's say once you progress in life, you start. But once you progress in life and you start a family and all this, you may be a long time before you can buy a convertible again. Eric Tan, hi Con, what happened to the audio at the start of the video? Well, that was just a quick teaser video. That footage was actually filmed the previous day. As I mentioned in my video, right, that day, what happened was actually I filmed all the Q&A to all those questions on the day before. But what I didn't realize was that I had my camera's audio was not recording. So as a result, I had to refilm that Q&A again, and I just showed a few seconds of that audioless footage as an intro to my video. Okay, right now you would have seen all our videos have intro and outro footages, okay, with all the music and all that. So for my videos, I have deliberately added intro scenes ahead, additional intro scenes ahead of our intro video, and nobody commented about this. I assume everybody stopped early. All my videos for the past 1 week or so have additional post-credit scenes, so go check them out. And yeah, and again, and share me what you guys think. Okay, so Elwin Savage, hi Mr. Con, I'm an owner of a Proton Wajal, so just want to ask you, if I change my bulbs to LED H1, do I need an adapter? I think you do. No, wait, depends actually. Which bulbs are you talking for? Are you talking about the main beam? Main beam, definitely, I think Waja is H7, right? Is it H7? I think it's H7. But if you ask me, I don't recommend changing your bulbs to other types, because your LED versus your halogen bulb, the voltage is different one. So you change that, it will affect the brightness and all that and your voltage all will lari already. Okay guys, so that's all the questions I have for today's video. Anything else new to ask? Drop me a line in the comment section. I'll see you guys in the next video, and hopefully today we'll have more optimistic numbers when the Health Director General, Dr. Noor Hisham, thank you for your service, sir. And yeah, hopefully we'll hear more optimistic numbers from him today. All right, cheers guys.